Horror gaming is everywhere, from indie horror to titles like Resident Evil Requiem. It feels like horror games are the lifeblood of gaming YouTube. Despite feeling all encompassing, I have never played a horror game. I watch videos on them, but never played any myself. I didn't grow up on horror games, so I was kind of afraid to try them out. Well, up until recently. Cue the 2026 Steam Spring Sale. Seeing a bunch of Capcom's best Resident Evil titles for close to $5, I decided to give the series and horror gaming in general a shot. I played the Resident Evil 2 demo, and honestly, I loved it. From there, I decided to play a full Resident Evil game. I chose the Resident Evil 1 remake, aka Remake. And I'm going to be frank with you, this was a mistake. Don't start with this game. I booted up the game, and after being treated with a short cutscene, I pressed New Game and was presented with three difficulty options. But unlike the typical difficulty settings of like easy, medium, or hard, I was presented with 1, 2, and 3 just numbers. A quick Google search told me that number 1 was normal. I chose that one. After selecting Jill as my character, the opening cutscene begins. The game takes place in 1998 in the forest near Raccoon City. The Alpha team of RCPD STARS division is looking for the Bravo team, who got lost investigating mysterious murders. And I have to say, this is some of the best campy dialogue I have ever heard.
Look, Chris!
Bravo team's helicopter was a derelict. Save for the remaining body of Kevin.
Hey, aren't you in Dead by Daylight? Wait, is that a spoiler? Anyway, after taking shelter in a nearby mansion from a bunch of zombie dogs, Alpha Team was left with me, aka Jill, a man named Barry, and Wesker, the aforementioned obvious bad guy from earlier. Me and Barry began investigating the left side of the mansion. This is where I encountered my first zombie. In the RE2 demo, it takes about 3 headshots to knock down a zombie and 3 more to kill it. The thing is, I don't know how to headshot in this game. There is no third person aiming. It took me 8 hits just to knock it down. So I ran back to Barry and he just kills it? Did I just use up all that ammo for nothing? Nevertheless, we lose track of Wesker. And at this point, we split up and investigate the house independently. But this won't be the last time you see Barry. We meet with him occasionally. Sometimes he's actually helpful, like when he saves me from a booby trap, or even gives you ammo. But those times are few and far between. After splitting up, I quickly hit a learning curve. In other words, I struggled dealing with zombies. So, as it turns out, players new to the series should probably be playing on number 2 difficulty, aka easy, as apparently normal was made for returning players. Jill is also apparently better overall, so I made the right choice there. The thing about headshots? Well, headshots are random, because you can't really aim your shots precisely. So instead, whenever you shoot a zombie, the game basically rolls to see if you make a critical hit. And when you do, the zombie's head explodes, and, well, yeah, you killed it. So after learning all of that, I changed my difficulty to easy, changed my character's outfit, and still died a lot. Part of the reason is that I try to fight every zombie. In most games I played, fighting every enemy is more or less encouraged. Not in this game. Ammo is relatively scarce, so shooting every zombie isn't practical. So I just left some alive, like this zombie that I named Ned. Hi, Ned. Another reason is that I try to use the knife. Don't use the knife. It is bad. Don't. Not only does it deal very little damage, it puts you into melee range, and from there, you can get grabbed very easily. But on the topic of the knife, sorry, but I have to rant about this. To use the knife, you have to aim it like a gun. For a gun, having to aim it before you shoot makes sense. For a knife that you just swing in front of you, Why? Why do you have to aim it? That being said, I did get the hang of the game, and from there, I quite enjoyed it. The puzzles are actually quite fun, and most of them are pretty intuitive as long as you have the right items. For example, in this gray zone here, there is this indent in the shape of an arrowhead. So when you find a jade arrow, it's pretty easy to put two and two together. That being said, sometimes to make an item useful, you have to interact with it, or combine it with something else. For example, to use the previously mentioned arrowhead, you have to examine the arrow itself and then take off the arrowhead from the shaft, and then you can put it in the indent. Even though I'm used to games breaking off the arrowhead automatically per se, I do like how it makes you feel like a detective by making you do it manually. You know when I said most of the other puzzles are intuitive? There is one that, well, frankly isn't. To get this gate open, it obviously required me to put these two symbols in the hexagons, but one was too small. I scoured the map, picked up every item I could, examined each item I had, and after 30 minutes, I decided to look up the answer. As it turns out, I'm not supposed to go there yet. Instead, I'm supposed to use the crank here, then head to this waterfall, then walk in. There was no way I would have figured this out without looking it up. But other than that, you can gauge what you need to do by looking at the puzzle and the items you have. Not every single item is used for puzzles. There are plenty of weapons as well. Shotgun, grenade launcher, and even these things called defensive weapons. These are consumables, either daggers or batteries for your taser, that you can use to get out of zombie grabs. These don't take up inventory slots, so you can pick up as many as you want. Since I don't know where else to put this, while exploring, you learn that all of these zombies are the result of experiments made by this company called Umbrella. They seem to be this chemical and pharmaceutical company that apparently makes bioweapons on the side. Like if Johnson & Johnson were like military contractors that sell war crimes or something. Since I have a very limited personal inventory, I found most of the game was me backtracking to a chest in order to manage my inventory. With all of this backtracking, I attempted to avoid enemy encounters by frequenting several of the same hallways. For example, this reddish one was my go-to when heading to the west side of the house. It's one of the safest hallways in the game despite its ominous appearance, as no enemies spawned there. Even though a zombie did barge in from another room, I made the hallway safe again by killing it and burning the body so it couldn't come back. Oh yeah, I forgot to talk about the Crimson Heads. Okay, in this game, after you kill a zombie, they can come back as a Crimson Head. During the time where they're dead the first time, they transform from basically George Romero zombies into 28 Days Later zombies, this time outfitted with claws. To prevent a body from coming back, you have to burn the body with kerosene or get a lucky headshot. The good news is that after Crimson Heads die, they don't come back. As I continued exploring the property, I keep encountering Barry. Thing is, whenever you meet up with him, he acts flaky yet again and wants to split up, which is kind of strange. You even overhear him talk to some mysterious person in another room, sounding super sus.
No, that wasn't part of our deal.
Like I said, I have no orders.
But it's not necessary to destroy stars.
Don't be a hard dog to keep in the woods.
What about my family?
I will guarantee their safety.
If I play my cards right.
Yet in contrast, and around the same part of the game, Barry saves you from this giant evil plant boss, so clearly he cares about you. This becomes important soon after, when you finally meet up with Wesker again.
Wesker!
Jill, so you're safe.
That's what I was going to say.
I apologize. It was all I could do to protect myself against those strange creatures.
I understand. Anyway, it's good that you're safe.
Did you notice? Barry, he sounded a little flaky.
Now that you mention it, yeah. I'll keep a close eye.
Maybe it's quite natural under these circumstances. It's not really our standard operation. Jill, our first priority is to get out of here.
I agree.
I've been looking for ways to
Okay, if there's anything, I'll go back to the other mansion.
I'm counting on you.
Honestly, I don't think you need previous knowledge to understand that Wesker is clearly the villain. Sure, Barry was acting weird, but he did help me. He even saved me a couple of times. You, Wesker, on the other hand, were gone the minute you got here, and only now decided to show up. And you're telling me that Barry can't be trusted? Seriously? Well, that being said, from this point on, Barry starts acting a lot more suspicious. At a later time, he abandons us in a mine, forcing us to find our own way out. And then, closer to the end of the game, Barry appears again.
Jill, you're alive. I was worried, because I thought you were...
Start talking.
Calm down, I didn't want to do it. Believe me, I can explain.
Don't lie to me!
No time to talk. Jill, hand me my gun!
Okay, maybe he pointed a gun at me because he thought I was a traitor, but still, I did end up trusting him because, well, he helped me a lot earlier. But now, time for a boss fight, and the boss is invincible for some reason. To beat them, you have to push these rock things down, which would lead the boss to discover that their mom died, so they jump to their deaths. Okay, I don't understand it either. We, of course, split up again, but then I met up with Chris, and, well, I can't unlock the door for some reason, but we'll get back to that later. But after that short detour, I met up with Barry yet again. I trusted him with my life recently, and I didn't die. So when he joined up with me, he stayed this time, and that alleviated any suspicion I had for him. We then made it to this room, and what do you know? It's Wesker. And he was the bad guy the whole time.
Wesker!
Thank you, Barry.
Wait, he's also a traitor? You probably aren't surprised by this, but I completed this playthrough across multiple days, and honestly, I kinda forgot about the whole eavesdropping scene. But not only that, I thought there was only going to be one traitor, Wesker. It did not occur to me that there could be more than one, bad guy. So I was a bit genuinely caught off guard when Barry, yeah, I probably should have saw it coming. But other than that, I was just vibing with the camp.
What do you know?
Oh, don't blame Barry for everything. I hear that his better half and 2 lovely daughters will be in danger if he doesn't do everything I tell him to.
Blackmail.
Why eliminate stars?
Believe it or not, that's Umbrella's intention.
You're just a slave of Umbrella. You and Umbrella took his family, you bastard.
Umbrella? Well, I used some carrots and sticks to cow him, but it had nothing to do with Umbrella. I just used Barry for my personal interests.
Oh, bad guy doing selfish stuff for selfish reasons. Who would have guessed?
I guess it's time for show and tell. It's magnificent.
For the sake of this thing.
You know, I hate goodbyes.
Barry, the goat!
Even if it meant my family, I couldn't bear turning my back on my friends again.
Jill and Barry together. In hell.
Bold words coming from you, Wesker. Well, cue boss fight. But honestly, I started looking for a way out because I thought the Titan was invincible just like the chain person. As it turns out, no he's not. The sickly, malnourished creature is invincible, yet the bioengineered superweapon isn't. But after knocking out the Titan, unlocking Chris's cell remotely, waking up Barry, and as it turns out, Wesker is gone. And apparently already set the place to blow. We get Chris, then we book it to a helicopter landing pad, hoping to get picked up by our helicopter from the beginning. But after signaling our ride, the Titan breaks out from the ground and knocks out Chris, leaving me and Barry to fight it without him. After using up all my grenade launcher ammo, our pilot dropped us our saving grace. And they lived happily ever after, until like 2 months later when Raccoon City was overrun by zombies. Soon enough, I was sent back to the main menu, and this time it was green, and that was Resident Evil. Before now, I had very different expectations for horror games. I expected to be faced with a bunch of jump scares, and me panicking the whole time, but instead I was faced with a story of like betrayal and misdirection, mostly because I did it to myself, but it still was something I didn't expect. I found myself enjoying this game quite a bit. Heck, while writing this video, I promised myself I wouldn't play any other Resident Evil game before I finished this one. And yet, I kept finding myself wanting to play more Resident Evil, with the series beckoning me like the Green Goblin mask in those Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies. Sure, there was a bit of a learning curve, but not only did I get through it, but I wanted more. Honestly, the small surprises and jumps in the game were exciting and not very scream-inducing, as I thought all horror games were for the most part. And to be real, I'm looking forward to playing some more.